2 days of practices, and we just reviewed some things. A lot of it's review right now. The good news is we can build off of it. Now I can go to the next step that I couldn't go, that I tried to go last year, and they weren't ready for it. Now we're ready for it. But really, it was dusting off the cobwebs and separating and figuring out. And I appreciate everything AAU does, but also the different style of basketball now, which really is two different styles of basketball. Very much appreciative of AAU, how it keeps the ball in their hands, and most of my girls play on the same team, so it keeps unity. But it was good to get them all together, dust off the cobwebs, and they sort of took off. We had 3 really good games. They were looking for each other, lots of teamwork, sharing the ball. It solidified for me. I think I already knew I was pretty deep, but I'm a very deep basketball team, and we threw Taya in there, the freshman, with 4 of my starters. I think she had 6 points like right off the bat because she's fast, so she blended right in there. So it was a good Saturday, and good for us to figure out a little of the things we need to work on.
Yeah, I think it's good to kind of jump in straight away of what the rest of the season, the next couple months are going to look like having constant games and practices just to get our bodies used to it, get back in shape, and just kind of get back into the swing of things, because the rest of the season it goes by fast and it's super busy, so we just got to be ready for it.
I think it's good. I think it's good for everyone to get back into it and kind of see how honestly hard it can be to only have 2 practices in 1 week and have to play 3 games, because it takes a toll on your body, on your mind. You still got to focus on school and everything else, but I think it's honestly the best for our freshmen to realize kind of what it's like to be here, and it's not easy, but it's a whole lot of fun.
It's definitely nice. It's something that I liked more about the shorter season that we had my freshman year, because we just have a lot of games every week instead of just 1 or 2. So I personally look forward to having a lot of games in 1 week, but I know it's probably going to be hard, because it's just a lot to do in 1 week, but I think we're going to have fun.
We do need the practice in the game situations just to figure out how, because I did come back this season, they haven't played with me for school, so it's been different adjusting, readjusting back to sophomore year, and also adding new people into our starting lineup. So I just feel like the adjustments will be made throughout the games that we play, and we'll learn and pick up new things as we go, which I feel like is nice, and I feel like that's a really important skill that we need.
It's good to just be able to get those reps, those game-like situations in. We try to build that type of stuff into practice, but there's really no substitute for playing a game. So it's good, especially at the beginning of the season, just to get those reps. That chemistry builds a lot quicker that way. And obviously for our legs, it's really good to be playing games pretty rapidly and kind of wrapping your head around the fact that you don't have much time from game to game.
I think it's good for us. I think it's good to have it early in the season so you can kind of practice your time management, managing the other parts of your life and schoolwork, to kind of just figure it out and figure out a schedule that works for every player in order to get everything done and also be able to show up on the court.
Bound to have at least, I usually fall into at least 2 weeks in the season. It's crazy like this because you have a delay or you have something that happened. So it just gets them in that mindset. It also is a nice little lesson, because I am student first, athlete second. A nice little lesson of how do you keep up with your schoolwork amongst this chaos, and this is a good week for them to prep and to prepare for that, because as we were saying, it's a good 15 weeks of this. And then it doesn't hurt. I kind of threw 3 scrimmages knowing we had a bye on that first Tuesday, because I know we're going to have to slow things down, so I thought go, a little bit of a break, and then the season can start. But I think you learn more playing against people who are not your own team. We're practicing our presses, and our kids know our presses, so we get frustrated because we feel like we're not doing a good job in our press, and then we went to that jamboree and it was working. So I think those 3 scrimmages this week are going to teach us the things we need to work on, and then we can slow down and kind of do walkthroughs together.
Yesterday on the one press, and Ash is going to talk to you about, while you can't make it perfect, where we should be trying to trap people. We weren't really picking good spots for trapping, so we were kind of setting ourselves up for failure. All right, so Ash is going to talk
He contacted me. I think he learned about us through John at Londonderry. John and I are in contact a lot. We're good friends. We help each other out. So I think John gave him my name. So he sought me out, and he just said he feels like we'll be pretty equally matched, and he's looking for some competition. For me, my hope is Massachusetts basketball is a little bit faster. And if we're going to compete with the top dogs in this league like we want to, if we're going to hang around with the Bedfords, the Londonderrys, the Portsmouths, and the BGs, we got to play fast basketball. And one of the things we just said at the our second game, we didn't play as well. And I said, sometimes you play at their speed, and we need to create the speed. We need to create the tempo of the game. We're too good of a team to let the other team dominate the tempo. So my hope is for Chelmsford that they're going to have a speed that we're going to have to match, and it teaches us we can also do that speed and bring it to other teams in New Hampshire. That's sort of the hope for me, because we can play fast, we just don't always know that we can.
I think it'll definitely be a good test. Like, anytime we can play somebody outside of our division that we're not used to playing, it's always good for us to work things out and maybe, just like see what it's like to play against different styles of play that we're not used to, like we can't scout for and things like that. Just kind of helps us be more prepared in the season if we do see teams like that. And just like having good out-of-state competition is always good. It helps us a lot.
It's definitely nice to have a game like that. I don't really know anything about the team yet, so it'll be a nice challenge because normally we know everything about every player. So we already know a lot going into the game, but this game we're not going to know a lot, so it's definitely going to be more of a challenge, and I think we need the challenge for the season to go well.
I think it's great. I think we need scrimmages like that to kind of prepare us and push us too. Like if they're going to be the same kind of team we are, I think that's great because we need to know what it's like to play against all kinds of different teams because it's not going to be the same every single time. And you can never just go into a game thinking that, wow, we're this kind of team and they're that kind of team. You can't do that. You got to play every team the same. And I think it's good to get against some good competition right before the season.
Playing a team that's similar to us is beneficial. I think that we have a lot of strengths on our team, and I think it would be good to to play against that, but obviously without having like the inside details that we know about playing against our own teammates. And I think it'll be good practice for later in the season when we play some of the top level teams, and just kind of good to play a team like that in the preseason just to get ready.
I feel like it's really important to play someone that's, from what you're telling me, that's kind of like ourselves, because we don't get a lot of that, and it's mostly like teams set up their own play for their own players, because most teams have a few players. We have a bunch of people that can score, a bunch of people that do different things with the ball. I feel like it's just really great that we will get to play a team that is kind of like us.
We obviously tried to prepare each game as much as possible, develop a strategy, but they don't always work out, and we don't always actually achieve what we're trying to do. So it's good to go in a little unknowing of what the other team has and what that we're going to face, but also if they are like us, kind of learning where our weak spots are and figuring out, learning from them what they do well, what we do well in that situation. I think it's a really good matchup for us.
Captains.
I think we need to be better than last game in the help as far as like stepping up to help, because when you're just standing there, they're either going to shoot it over you and you're not going to like draw the charge. So we want to try and probably at least get a couple of those this game.
So just keep working on the things we've been doing at practice. We've prepared for it, so to speak. Don't let them speed us up on the offensive end and be patient, but if a fast break is there, then we can utilize that because we have speed as well.
We really do have speed. We didn't do a very good job with the fast break against Hanover. It was weird. We kind of struggled on that one, but we kicked butt with that in the Wells game. So we want to kind of find that happy medium there. Captains.
Together on three. 1, 2, 3, together.
All right, let's rock and roll. Let's do it. on this year, which I don't think we did a good job with last year, and not necessarily because they couldn't do it, but I'm not sure they were ready to do it because we were so young, is controlling the tempo. That we're too talented of a team to play to other people's tempos. And I came in knowing, all I knew about Chelmsford is they were going to be physical. So they played 2 other teams that I know of, and that was the remark was they are physical. And last year we succumbed a lot to physical.
I think we definitely worked on some stuff we hadn't quite worked on earlier in that week, and we were able to, in the end, bring together a bunch of the stuff we had been talking about throughout the entire week and put it together in that one game. And I mean, we got a lot of people in. It was just a good team game. Everybody was sharing the ball. We fought together, we played together, and I thought it went really well.
We're a pretty fast-paced team, and I thought that was good for us in the preseason to kind of get that leading into some of the games we have coming up with some pretty fast-paced teams. I also thought that they had a lot of pressure on the defensive end, which I thought was good for us to work on our sets offensively.
Definitely we're giving into the physicality. I thought it took us the first quarter to figure out their physicality and match it, and then after that first quarter, that was our game. Once we understood the physicality and reached it, then we started to get the style points and the good strategy, and our new offense, I thought, went well for them, so that gave our kids some confidence. But what I like that we're controlling the game, we're controlling the pace, we're controlling the physicality, because that's what a good veteran team should do. So against teams that are really competitive, I have to believe that gives us the advantage and gives us some wins that we were not getting last year.
Like a closer game than how the score was, because it was just so back and forth like the whole time. But I feel like we played really good. I think we shared the ball really well. Everybody got involved, and I think defensively, I think that's why, because that's why that we won by so much, was because we were turning our defense into offense, which was really good. And that's kind of like the style that we want to play, like getting stops and then scoring on the other end.
I feel like it always goes this way, where we always feel like we're down or it's really close, but in reality there's a bigger spread than we think, but that's just the way we play, because we always want to play the games like they're close, so it's the most intense that it can be.
I mean, when we're out on the court, we don't really try to say, oh, we're up by this much, so we can take it easy. No, your foot's on the pedal the whole time until the end of the game, because you never know when a team's gonna go on a run and either catch up to you or even get ahead of you. You just always got to be ready. And so if we're up by 20, we're not going to be oh, we can relax now. No, we still got to play as a team. We still got to play defense. We can't just slack off.
I wasn't surprised because I didn't think we could do it. I was just surprised because when we go on a run, things just happen so fast, and I don't keep track of points in my head, and then I look up and realize how much we've scored, and I can't even track back all the points that we scored. It's just oh, I guess we have them.
Busk makes it seem just how she is as a coach. She realizes after, and then she gets us amped up, and then we're all amped, and then we're oh, it's a close game, da, da, da. And then we look at the scoreboard and we get a timeout, or the quarter ends and we're oh, we're up by whatever we were up by. So it felt like it was a close game for us, But then like realizing, and then we were like, oh, let's relax, let's run a play, let's like try and get everyone to score, let's do whatever we need to do to like play the game and like break things down and focus on the things we need to work on.
Even the Hanover game, the game before, it was a similar vibe. Like, it felt so close and so tight, and then I looked up and I'm like, oh, we're up by 20. The Chelmsford game, there was a moment, I want to say close to the beginning of the second, where the press came together, and we had like a 6 or 8 point run. And that gave us a good enough lead there, and we kind of went from there. But there was a moment where it all came together. Benz was playing the middle really well. We caused about 3 turnovers. Liz had a few buckets there, and that confidence helped us. And then when the press is working well, it makes us do our half-court defense better. So that all came to be, and I think that second quarter was when we sort of figured out this was our game. But I would say, 2 minutes in, the one press just started working really well. It was working before, but it was really working then. So that built the confidence, and then we didn't look back.
Great. I feel like this year we definitely have a lot deeper bench than like past years. Like every single person that came into the game contributed something different. So I think that's good. Like for the upcoming season, like we know like if we can go to our bench and get production from them. Like say somebody gets in foul trouble, like we have somebody that can come off the bench and step in right away. And kind of giving everybody experience in the scrimmages first will just prepare them more for the real thing.
I mean, we have a really deep bench this year, and everyone can contribute. I mean, you know, some kids might not get in as much as like another one will, but it's not necessarily about all the time that you're getting. It's about those minutes that you are getting. Like if you go in for 3 minutes, and you're grabbing rebounds, you're doing all the hustle, but you don't score any points. Those are still good minutes, and you still contributed something to the team. So I think it's really important for like our girls who like won't get as much playing time. They need to realize that they can still contribute and they're still helping the team when they get in and play those good minutes.
Our freshmen are really good this year. They're tough. I think our entire bench could play. Like pretty much everybody could start on a high school team, and our bench is really deep, so it's nice to have that, especially if like our starters get tired. We have a lot of people that could come in and fill their roles.
Really nice to see, and it's just nice to have everybody play in the game because they're there to support us when we start, and it's just nice to see them go in and cheer for us cheer for them as much as they cheer for us. I just love the energy that we have on and off the court with everyone, and everybody loves each other, so it's not like it's like weird for anyone or that everybody gets mad, but it was so nice. It's so nice to see that everybody works well together and everybody, like, if someone messes up, it's like, you're okay, instead of like, you need to do better. It's like, you're okay, you got to get it back next play. And I just love that about our team, and I love that culture that we kind of have already on our
Usually
team.
the one of the last ones who goes in, and just having the full team support me and the other people out there is just great, because they treat us with the same support as we treat them throughout the rest of the game, and it's just good. It's such a confidence builder, especially when we go in there with a lead. Everybody kind of plays a little like more comfortable, shoulders back. It's a fun environment.
I noticed this. It was at the end of the third scrimmage, and I hadn't been processing it, but most of those scrimmages, I'm getting 8 or 9 people in the first quarter. And yes, it's a scrimmage, but like I don't have to get everybody in the first quarter of a scrimmage, but I'm able to go deep enough in the bench that I'm getting 8 or 9 people in there. And then the people that I am putting in, I think this is really important for a culture of a team, in the establishment of a team, is understanding of roles. I think roles are important. So I've never hid the fact that I think your 6th person off the bench might be the most important person on the team, because they're the game changer. So you have this starting lineup, and then who do you put in, and how is it going to change? You know, for most purposes, that's going to be Emily Leonard, who was a starter last year. But we have Alex back, so she's sacrificed, but we teach roles, so she's buying into the roles. So for intensive purposes, that's going to be Emily. But Devin LeBrun, who now moves down to the 7th person, was my 6th person last year. So I have 3 6-men, and also in Hayden. Like, there's 3 people I'm looking at who could go in right away and change the dynamic of a game or give us something different. So having that and knowing I can do that gives me the freedom to play around with lineups and my starters, and to not have to be so reliant on, to give my starters breaks, that I can give Liz and Sid 3 minutes off, and we're good. In fact, we might have a better lead, you know, putting them back in. So I'm working on that. I'm not always known for going very deep, but I've been working on it, and I have the team now to do so. So it's not gonna, if I can get 9 players in the first quarter and we're doing well, I don't think any coach wouldn't want that. So we're working on the rotations, we're working on roles. From number 1 to number 14, I think it's important to let them know what I think their role is, why their role is valuable, and then really celebrating them when they do the role well.
For us, they were a very physical team, which we kind of needed that aspect. Like, we just needed to play a team like that to just kind of get us ready for the season, because they're going to play against teams that are physical, and we have to be as aggressive back. And I think that they tried really hard, and they were very physical and aggressive, and they worked well as a team. And I think that we played very well against that and adapted to that.
We're definitely very aggressive, but I think we handled ourselves really well, and we passed the ball really well that game.
I feel like it went really well. We just meshed well together. Like, the talking was there. There's obviously some kinks we need to work out, just like spacing wise, and then like defense and talking, because on transition if you saw, like, we lost our girls a couple times, so it was just like a little bit more of communication. But otherwise, I thought we did really well, and it was nice to have everybody go in and play and get their minutes in, and it was great that we all contributed something in that game.
Because we kind of go into each game with a similar approach, and I think games like that show us that we can achieve those goals, and especially with defense being our mindset, and that's how we're creating our offense. A game like that where it worked well for us, just like going back to it, picking out from that game what worked, and being able to use that going forward.
I think it was good that was like the last one before we actually play, because again, they were like kind of a mix of, they were fast, they were aggressive, and they were like physical, which that was like, yeah, the most like we would see in our actual division. So I think that was really good just going into it. We knew it was like our last scrimmage, kind of last time to get the kinks out and kind of work through everything and get ready for the first regular season game. So yeah.